Is it finally time?
Yes, Father, it's time.
Oh, new hunters, glorious new hunters, my favorite time of year.
You're talking about it like it's Christmas or something.
It is more cannon fodder to man the cannons, fodderly.
I'm sorry, did you just...
And that means I get to pick new favorites.
Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, for any of you playing Monster Hunter Rise on home consoles, this is a very important special week. I'm sure you've heard rumblings about what's going on in Sunbreak, not just over recent months, but especially in the last week or so, as we just had the final major title update, and things are going quite swimmingly on PC and Switch. But today is instead all about you. This week, finally, the Sunbreak expansion releases for consoles, and while you've had access to base Rise for a few months now, and everything within it, Sunbreak changes a hell of a lot, and I thought it would be a good idea to dive into that and help you prepare for what's to come. Generally, this guide will assume that you've played through base Rise, but it won't make any assumptions of your knowledge past that. We'll keep out any important spoilers so as to let you experience the game fully on your own and enjoy what it has to offer. First up then, let's talk about gear, as this is important and it changes a lot the second that you access the expansion. Up until this point, your armor will have been split between low and high rank, but the second that you kill your first monster in Sunbreak, you'll unlock the Master Rank tab. This tab contains all of your new armor that you'll get in the expansion, and it is generally just simply better than high rank armor. It's worth noting that obviously early tier Master Rank armor will have worse skills than high tier high rank monsters. So if you have a decent set, you may want to actually hold on to that for a little bit, as the main difference will simply be your defense number. Essentially, once survival becomes a concern for you, look to upgrade to a Master Rank armor set. Until then, you should feel free to keep using your high rank armor. Conversely, on the opposite side, as for weapons, upgrade to a Master Rank one as soon as you physically can. The newer weapons pretty much just across the board have better stats all around than the high rank ones, even the end tier high rank weapons, so you want to get one as soon as you can and look to keep upgrading these whenever possible. Past that, let's talk about something that affects every quest that you go on, which is the Dongo system. Of course, this is where you eat your food before a quest to power up, gain some bonuses, extra max health and stamina, and so it's an important system. But this actually changes quite a bit in Sunbreak, and it's a good idea to have a decent understanding of it beforehand. Essentially, the order in which you select your Dongo now matters thanks to the concept of the hopping skewers. You pretty much always want hopping skewers turned on, and what this does is lower the activation chance of the food skill, but increase the effect. Every Dongo on your skewer now has a level. The first one that you select is level 4, the second one is level 3, and the third is level 1. Level 1 is essentially the food effect that the Dongo had in base Rise, whereas every level above that is notably stronger, having a different effect on each type of Dongo. So essentially you want to always be using hopping skewers in combination with the Dongo tickets that you get from doing the Motley Mix, as this will still result in really high activation chances, but with even stronger food skill results. On top of that, there will be some new Dongo with new skills that weren't even in base Rise for you to mess around with and try out. Next up then, let's talk about the Buddy Plaza, as this place is actually quite important. Once you reach the new hub out by the docks, you'll find this cat. Interacting with him can do a lot of good things for you. You have the Buddy Dojo, which lets you train up levels for your buddies. You have the ability to swap out certain skills on your Palicos to sort of fully customize your Palico to have the abilities that you want it to. There are now in Sunbreak sort of ultimate abilities for Palicos as well that you can unlock as you level them and complete requests. These are just the strongest Palico moves in the game, and they are unique for each Palico type. Past that, we of course still have the Meowcenaries, which can unlock a few Master Rank armor sets with their rare materials, just Master Rank upgrades of the high rank armor that were unlocked in that system before, but still worth being aware of. And of course the Argosy, this sort of farm location within the game. In base Rise, this was of course a thing, but it had a secondary function added in Sunbreak. After a few quests, you'll unlock the Backroom Deals function. If you press X or square on the Argosy trade request menu, you will tell your Palico to activate Backroom Deals. They'll return with bonus items occasionally, and the 3 bonus items that this can actually give you are locked treasure chests, which unlock what I think is just one of the coolest looking armor sets in the whole expansion, the Melding Pudding, which is just a really high tier material for doing talisman melding, it gives you a lot of points, and the MP Accelerants, which are silly important but with a bit of a caveat. These items allow you to do talisman melds instantly, letting you skip the part where you have to complete a quest in between, which then unlocks them, which obviously just makes melding really fast when you have these items, as long as you have material sitting around to just sort of spam it. The thing with this though is while it is always good, you probably want to just stockpile these for now. Without spoiling anything in particular, Sunbreak will be releasing for consoles at version 13, and the current version of Sunbreak on PC and Switch is version 15, so you'll be a couple of patches behind, and with my future knowledge of these patches, I will simply say that a new type of melding will be unlocked for you in the future, and the talismans that you get from this will be of a significantly higher tier, so save your MP accelerant specifically as much as you can bear to do. That said, the materials that you use for the new type of melding that will unlock later are different than the ones that you use for the other melds, so still feel free to do these melds, including the Anima and Reincarnation melds, as well as the Aurora melds, which lets you target specific skills that you want to get. They are simply all better results than the talismans that you could get before Sunbreak, so definitely do them. Use your Master Rank materials for this as much as you can, but I advise you to keep your MP accelerants around for when the final talisman melding type gets added.
You have to hold on to them.
Backtracking slightly then, at the Buddy Plaza there is a new function under the Meowcenaries menu called Buddy Recon. There are set locations on every map, both the new maps and the old ones even, called Buddy Recon points. Once you've discovered them out in the field, you can talk to the Buddy Plaza cat, and then what you do is assign one of your buddies to go and just sort of sit there, and then that becomes an extra fast travel point on that map. You can only use the Buddy Recon fast travel once per quest, but an extra point you travel to is invaluable as far as increasing your speed goes in a game with maps as big as this one, so it's really just great to have around and be aware of. Speaking of the maps then, there are new types of endemic life around both on the old maps and the new ones. There are quite a few of them, but the two that I consider the most important are the Starbugs, which are these little creatures on the wall in various places around the maps. If you hit them with an elemental attack of any kind, they will change color. If they are hit by a monster's elemental attack of any kind, they will also change color. And if you wall bash a monster into these bugs, then they will pop for a large chunk of damage and also apply whatever elemental blight they were infused with, which is pretty awesome. Then you also have the Marionette Spider. This essentially gives you a one-time wall bash on a monster, you throw it to connect it to the monster, then pull on the string to pull them towards you, theoretically into the wall that will be behind you. These two endemic life obviously work quite well together as well. Moving on back to the hub then, we have more of these side quests or requests as they are called. These are in base Rise, they are important, you want to do them because there's more of them in Sunbreak. They'll unlock lots of functions and equipment that you didn't have before you did them, and one of the things that they can get you is this goddamn monk snail hat, and if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what can. A really big function added to Sunbreak then is the follower system. Once you get a little bit into the story of the game, you'll unlock follower quests, which ask you to go on specific hunts of specific monsters and bring certain NPCs along with you. They hunt with you, they help a decent amount, they're not quite as strong as an actual player, but they do help out. They aren't overly strong, but they do make a notable difference. As well, once you've unlocked the follower properly, you can actually bring them along with you on any quest in the game when you're doing them solo, which is really neat as a function. Past that, each follower has their own sort of mini quest line where if you do a follower quest for them, it will unlock another one from them, and another one, until it eventually gives you a reward. Most of which are armor sets, all of which look cool and have some decent skills on them too, so it's another activity worth paying attention to in Sunbreak. One final bit of information now before I think you're plenty ready to tackle this lovely expansion is one that I partially mentioned earlier. Sunbreak on release for home consoles won't quite be at the same update level as PC and Switch. You will be at version 13, which is Title Update 3, whereas PC and Switch are at version 15, which is Title Update 5. Obviously this means if you are someone concerned about spoilers, you aren't quite in the clear yet to just look at everything that you want to, but hopefully you don't have to wait particularly long to get there. Aside from this, it means you have a mammoth amount of things to do. You don't just have base Sunbreak, you have 3 title updates on top of that. Of course, there is the entire story of the game itself, then there are various monsters that unlock as you raise your master rank level higher and higher after the story, as well as all of the monsters that were added in the title update 1, 2, and 3, so be aware that all of these are a thing for you to do. Then on top of that, there is the anomaly research system. I won't go into any details as again, I'm trying to keep this spoiler free. We have videos about that if you want to search it up in particular, but know that there is a type of upgrading quest level system where you can do a quest at varying difficulties that scale upwards and upwards to a pretty extreme amount, creating a very in-depth endgame system. So there just is an absolute ton of content for you to play through, even with getting the game 2 updates behind. Past that, you have a lot to look forward to as well. Title Update 4 was incredible, and Title Update 5 contains one of my favorite fights in all of Monster Hunter, the entire series, so it is absolutely worthy of the wait that you'll still have. And that's about everything, Hunters. I hope you've learned a helpful amount of information from this guide. I hope it's helped you prepare for the upcoming release of Sunbreak itself, and of course, most importantly, just go into it with an open mind. I know you've sort of acclimated to Rise now, and if you've reached the endgame, you probably probably thought a lot about the efficiency of hunts, but remember, your first hunt of a new monster only happens once. Take it all in and enjoy all the brand new creatures you'll get to experience as you play through the expansion, as there are just some absolutely fantastic ones around, and again, you don't get a first fight a second time. I wish you all the best in your journey through the game, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below, and hopefully we can get you an answer. Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.